Now, you want to be able to prepare a quick, healthy meal without discovering that one of the ingredients has gone off and now you have just wasted your money because you have to throw it out. But somehow you have 5,000 packets of ketchup. This is a quick food storage, declutter and tidy for when you are short on time and space, and you don't have to decant everything into magical matching containers. Let's go. Hi guys, it's Laura, and if you daren't go into the depths of your freezer for fear of what you will find there, this is the decluttering task for you. My husband sitting right over there, really distracting. Blushing now. This is day 8 of the Declutter Challenge, Clutter-Free in 5, where we tackle small spaces that get big results, and all in just 5 minutes. Make sure that you are subscribed so you don't miss out. I am all about helping you to streamline and simplify your life and your home so that you can focus on what matters most to you. And I am guessing that health and saving money matter to you. So let's dive in and save that sad pile of spinach from wilting away in the back of your fridge. The first thing I will say is to grab a pen and a piece of paper or whatever you use to jot down your grocery list. That way, as you're going through and you're making note of things, you can quickly write them down. You know the drill by now. We are doing this in 5 minutes, so you are going to have to pick your poison. You're probably not going to get to an entire pantry or an entire fridge. So pick a section. Maybe it is your vegetables, maybe it is just one shelf of your pantry, maybe it's your fruit bowl, whatever it may be, just one small space. And let's get some quick decluttering results. Now, if this is a space that you haven't already snapped a before picture, then go ahead and do that now. And here is a little top tip for you just before we dive in. Right before you go grocery shopping, snap a picture of the contents of your fridge, your freezer, and your pantry, and you will avoid that situation that I find myself in all the time, which is when you get to the store and you're staring at the bread and it's not on your list, but you're wondering if you just forgot to write it on your list and you actually do need it, and then you're like, should I buy it? Am I going to end up with like 5 loaves of bread at home? Snap a picture and then you will know for sure. Okay, let's dive in. Here are some great questions that you can ask yourself. The first is maybe a very obvious one, but is it edible? Particularly with things maybe like leftovers, where it might seem from first appearance, first glance, that the contents are totally fine. But when you actually open it up and get a whiff of it, it might be a different story. Things like cans, they might seem totally fine, but when you actually pick them up, you might realize that there's a bulge in the back of them, something like that. So go through and ask yourself, is that stuff actually edible? Has it expired? Has it passed its prime? Now, the next kind of phase of this is, are you actually going to eat it? Because there is a big difference between something that is edible, that is technically edible, and you actually eating it. You may have bought something, tried a little bit, realized that you don't like it, or more likely you bought something for your kid and then they realize they don't like it, and now you're left with half a pack of something. Maybe you bought things in bulk and you didn't realize at the time that you would not like that thing, or that you've just eaten enough of them for now. That happened to me with breadsticks. Went to Italy, ate a lot of breadsticks, have not looked at a breadstick since. And then even if it passes those 2 tests, there is a final one here, and that is, are you going to eat it before it goes off or before it is past its prime? Something may be edible. You may think, yes, I will eat this at some point, but if you bulk bought a whole load of chicken breasts and they all go off tomorrow, you don't necessarily have to chuck them. You might be able to put them in the freezer and salvage them. Remember, it's not just about getting rid of stuff, but it's about using them in the best way possible. So this is what is going to eliminate a lot of that food wastage. Okay, let's talk about 2 great ways that you can save a lot of space. I know I said we weren't going to decant things into matching containers, and we're not, but if you have 2 half-open boxes of things, then condense them down into 1 box. This can be particularly helpful with things like pastas. I often find we've loads of different types of pastas, and we'll end up inadvertently opening 2 boxes of the same type of pasta and half using each of them. So by condensing them down into 1 box, that saves a lot of space. And the second thing then is just removing things from boxes. Very often the box is like this big, but the thing inside it is this big. Some things these days are 50% packaging. So if that is the case for you, then consider doing that, removing things from the boxes. I do this particularly with cereal. Cereal boxes are this tall. The cereal inside is this much. So if I have another half open bag, I will just open the new box and put the half open bag into that one. And then I've got 2 bags of cereal in the one box. Saves me tons of space. Let me give you another tip. It's not necessarily going to save you space, but it's just going to make the whole food prep that much easier for you. Take the lids off boxes, just rip them off. It's just so much easier. It's one of those things where, particularly with small little snack bars and things like that, you're reaching in every day. You have to open the box, take something out, close the box, and then if you're putting it back in, open the box, put it back in, close the box. Ripping the lids off, particularly for kids, if you're trying to get them to eat a slightly healthier snack, just making it much easier for them to reach in and grab that thing, that can make all the difference, but it works just as well on us adults too. Now, to make sure that you are actually using up all of your food and that nothing goes to waste, here are some tips for you. The first is to put like with like. So all of your tins, all of your breakfast stuff, all of your dairy, things like that. The reason that is so helpful is because it helps you to see how much of one thing you have. If you've got a large walk-in pantry, if you do, fair play to you. But if you do and you have, you know, a cereal box on the top shelf and you've got some cereal over here and then you've got some decanted into a container over here, it's really hard to be cognizant of the fact that you have multiple boxes of cereal. Whereas when you keep all of that stuff together, it's much easier to recognize when you have lots of one thing and not so much of another thing. When I started putting, you know, like with like, I started to notice that I had way more snack type things than pretty much any other category of food. So what I did was got them all together, put them on the bottom shelf right down here. It just makes it a little bit more inconvenient for me, but it also, putting like with like, helped me to realize how much of that one thing I had. Also put stuff that is going to expire the soonest at the front, and also either at eye level or at arm reaching level, and that way that is the stuff that you will just naturally use up because it will be right there in your eye line. That will be the stuff that will be easier for you to grab. It's really great if after you do your grocery shop, you can spend just a few minutes preparing and washing some fruits and vegetables, and again then putting them somewhere where they're very easily accessible, because when you are hungry and you need that little snack fix, you're just going to reach for whatever is convenient. So having your fruits and vegetables, just taking a few minutes to have them washed, chopped, prepared, just makes it so much easier for you to grab that stuff and not just throw some blueberries in the fridge and then a week later realize that they're all gone off. That has never happened in this house. And then the kind of flip side of that is to put things that have the longest shelf life, or the things that you don't want to be reaching for on a regular basis, at the back or in some out of the way place. So the next time you do a grocery shop, instead of just shoving things in on top of the previous things like my husband does, egg cartons particularly. If I buy egg cartons, I will put the newer one below the older ones. No, my husband will just put them on top, and then we'll use those and realize that the ones on the bottom went off like 6 weeks ago. So just get into the habit when you do a grocery shop of putting all that new stuff towards the back. If you want to go an extra step, you can sit down now and do yourself out a very basic, broad, simple meal plan, using up all of the things that are going to expire the soonest first. And then to help you celebrate either tonight or the next time you can get to the store to buy all the ingredients, treat yourself to your favorite meal. Trust me, you deserve it. Now in the next video, we are going to be tackling a space that always seems to be cluttered no matter what you do. And it's one of those places that's out in the open, so it's not like you can even just hide it behind closed doors. If your dining table is the bane of your life, then make sure you are subscribed, because you're going to want to catch that one. Go raibh míle maith agaibh. Agus feicim mé sibh go luath. Slán!